In the present, those shadows still exist. Denying what you know to be real will only end in sadness. Open your mind and confront what lurks beneath the surface, for that is the only way you will conquer your fears.
The image of a weeping woman dressed in white, her face covered in long black hair, is a common horror trope used widely in the film industry. This character typically is depicted as preying on young children, taking them to grim fates that await. While this stereotype does seem to be used quite often in horror films, the idea of a fiendish ghost-like woman with the intent to kill does have deeper origins than one might think. One version of this character has a distinct notoriety in the South American regions, one that has haunted the continent for centuries. Over time, urban legends develop stories of origin that explain their sinister nature, a type of backstory that explains why such a being is said to exist, as well as giving the figure in question motives for their horrific actions. And the legend of La Llorona is no exception. Though many versions of her origins exist, one variation of the tale has remained the most prominent among the rest. She is said to have originally been a woman named Maria. Maria was blessed with the gift of great physical beauty, but was haunted by the poverty-stricken status of her family. All that changed, however, when a wealthy man traveled through her village. The man gained Maria's attention immediately, and he soon became attracted to her as well. As the two connected, they quickly fell in love. It wasn't long after that the man proposed to Maria despite his family's disapproval of him marrying into a poor family. The two quickly married regardless. They started a family together, having 2 sons living outside of the village where they had first met. But what seemed to be a promising life together soon took a turn for the worst, as the father's work repeatedly led him away from his new family. Even when the husband was able to visit, he became less satisfied with his new family with every time he saw them, neglecting them more and more until the once close relationships they had turned into a distant and cold dynamic. The love he had for his wife and 2 boys quickly began to dwindle into nothing. This would only be the beginning of Maria's pain, as soon after, her husband returned home with a new lover and told his 2 sons goodbye, while not even acknowledging Maria before abandoning his family for good. As the pain and anguish of Maria's heartbreak grew, she became livid with rage. The reality of her once loving husband's betrayal tormented her to the point of complete madness, and it was this madness that sent Maria over the edge, to the point that she took her 2 sons to a watery grave, drowning them both in a nearby river. After she had realized the crime she committed, she cried out with the phrase, "Oh my children." In some versions, Maria drowned herself after realizing the horrific thing she had done to her only children. Other versions indicate that the emotional torment she experienced was so intense that it was her own grief that took her. It is said that after her death, upon arriving at the gates of heaven, she was denied access because of what she had done, and for that, she was thrown back down to earth as a curse, forever punished by being forced to try and retrieve her sons that she had denied the gift of life to. Like her origin, many variations of La Llorona's story exist due to the varying locations that embody her legend, all versions having similarities in one form or another. The version that follows is the most common understanding of the legend of La Llorona. The name La Llorona translates to weeping woman. This is in part due to the grief that La Llorona is said to have experienced when still alive, which is why it is said that when one is around her, they will hear a woman weeping, sobbing uncontrollably. Lingering around all areas that have bodies of water nearby, she waits, grieving as she tries to lure children close to her to give them the same fate as her sons. She specifically lures them through her weeping, as she attempts to gain a kind of sympathetic curiosity from the unsuspecting youth. Children are warned to run as far away as possible from her once her wailing has been heard, as it is what will lead to their imminent demise. Some claim even hearing her cry is a sign that a person's life will inevitably fall into ruin. Her targets aren't just children, however. She is also said to hunt down and torment any and all unfaithful husbands due to the torment she went through with the husband who betrayed her. La Llorona's appearance resembles other beings depicted in many other kinds of horror stories, the clothing she is said to wear being a funeral gown, her face only lightly covered with a veil to partially conceal her. In some versions her gown is black, while in most she is masked in a pale white. Despite how she is portrayed to look as a hideous demon in media portrayals, original legend depicts her as a beautiful woman, which is in part the deceptive nature of her allure. And while at times she is portrayed as a mindless killer, she is said to be anything but, as it is again her human-like nature that deceives people into believing that she has no ill intent. La Llorona resembles several mythological figures from various cultures and periods of time in the ancient world. In fact, some would say that the similarities in archetypes around the world to La Llorona's lore is nothing short of fascinating. She shares these similarities with several mythological goddesses who are said to have similar plans in store for the small children of their specific era. Two prime examples of this being the Hebrew demoness Lilith and the Greek goddess Hera. Lilith, having the form of a beautiful black-haired woman, was said to be a demon who killed unborn children, causing miscarriages to occur in Hebrew women. Hera, on the other hand, was known as the jealous wife of Zeus due to his continuous acts of infidelity. She was said to have hunted down and killed all of Zeus's offspring that belonged to the other goddesses. This was a vicious cycle of ongoing killings that never ceased. These goddesses are just two of the numerous examples that are out there. One must wonder why so many of these mythical figures share such distinct similarities. Are they all connected? Are they all somehow related to an incident that occurred in a culture that predated the connecting cultures of the world? One can only wonder why such a specific archetype exists in the first place. The impact of La Llorona's story is so great that she has been the spotlight of many TV shows and movies over several decades. Two prime examples of this in more recent years being the first phantom encounter on episode 1 of the hit series Supernatural, and the other being the 2019 film The Curse of La Llorona, which is the 6th horror film in the Conjuring universe. While these portrayals typically put La Llorona in an overly exaggerated light, these are part of the reason why her legacy has had so much growth even in recent years. The legend of La Llorona was originally a simple ghost story used by South American families to keep their children from wandering outside late at night. As time has gone on, however, it has gained a life form of its very own. What was once a children's tale has now become much more, becoming ingrained in the very fabric of South American culture through the hearts and minds of those who the story has been passed on to. It is this that has brought La Llorona to life and has transcended her from an ordinary legend to one that will remain with us for centuries to come.
Fue grabado por un joven que se encontraba en su horario nocturno de trabajo cuando al parecer alguien inesperado lo visitaría.
Estamos aquí, son casi las 2 de la mañana. Salí porque se escucha un grito. Es en la calle. No se puede ver nada, pero sí se alcanza a escuchar. Oigan, oigan, oigan. Yo estoy aquí en mi trabajo, como pueden ver. Oigan. No hay nadie en la calle.
Sería en septiembre del año 2017 que Jimmy Bardales Mendoza sería quien subiría este video a su Facebook. Al parecer oiría llantos provenientes de la calle, por lo que intrigado saldría con su móvil en mano y pondría a grabar la situación.
Ya, loco, graba. Míralo ahí, loco, míralo ahí. ¿Y qué estás teniendo? Yo te dije, loco, ese parece a Martín, loco, el que murió. Cierra la puerta. No sé. Cierra la puerta. Llama a papi. Papi, ven que aquí hay una cosa rara, yo no sé qué es. Mira, llámalo, ve. Cierra la puerta. Ay, Dios mío. Mira. Ay, Dios. Llama a papi.
Serían las 1:30 de la mañana cuando serían escuchados estos sonidos en toda la oscuridad de un pequeño pueblo.
Y acabo de escuchar unos ruidos extraños afuera de mi casa. Y se escuchan a lo lejos como unos, va a salir rápido, se escuchan como unos gritos, unos lamentos. Me llama la atención porque hace años los escuché y mucha gente asegura que son de la Llorona. Vamos a asomarnos, ahorita mi perro se escuchan los claros. Está fresco, pero vamos a ver de dónde provienen porque se ven muy fuertes. Pero se escucha muy raro. Ya tenía mucho tiempo que no lo escuchaba y según la gente asegura que son de la Llorona. Se dice que aquí cerca, bueno, en Dolores del Río, donde está la sequía vieja, se escuchan seguido. Y pues se escuchan por los lamentos a lo lejos.
Eran las 3 de la madrugada en Argentina, cuando unas jóvenes escucharían sonidos aterradores provenientes de afuera, y fue por su curiosidad que pudieron captar esto.
Sí, mira, mira, Marco, me hace la concha de la lora. Ay, me da miedo. Vamos a llamar a la policía. ¿Qué vamos a hacer la concha de tu madre? Ay, ahora me tiembla la mano. Ay, no, para hacer, tengo miedo. Vamos a llamarlo, papá. Ay, ya fue.
Captado en Uruguay, un grupo de jóvenes viajaba en un auto de noche, escuchando música y divirtiéndose, cuando todo se tornaría aterrador.
Para. Hay algo ahí, boluda.
Qué raro.
Hay algo ahí, boluda.
Ay, no. ¿Qué es eso?
Pará, tranquila.
Ay, San, ¿lo vas a seguir? Ay, se fue para la calle. Ojo. ¿Qué? Ay, no, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? No.
Pará, que hay algo ahí, pará.
Ay. Ay, no está mirando. No, está mirando, no está mirando, está siguiendo, vámonos, anda a saber qué es. No, vámonos. Ay, no, vámonos, pobre, ay, no, me da miedo.
Vamos a ver qué es.
Ay. Pero si ahí es una mujer loca, ¿qué es? ¿Qué es eso?
Este corto audiovisual fue grabado en México y, como es común en estos casos, oyéndose estos sonidos en la oscuridad de la noche. Eran las tantas de la noche cuando dos jóvenes comenzarían a oír lamentos. Fue por esto que comenzarían a grabar en busca de la fuente del sonido. Lo aterrador sería que la encontrarían. Sería en Argentina, cuando unos jóvenes irían a buscar leña en mitad de la noche, solo para toparse con lo que terminaría siendo la peor y más aterradora de sus anécdotas.
¿Andaron a buscar leña, boludo?
No hay
Allá había leña.
¿Dónde?
Vamos a buscar.
Ahí eran todavía unos palitos ahí.
Ahí.
Ahí está.
Unas ramas, un poco de cosas así.
Ya andamos acá arrancando. Vamos a ir más para allá. Para el lado del puente por ahí.
Allá hay palo, boludo.
¿Y eso?
¿Y eso qué mierda, boludo?
Firma aquello.
¿Qué eso?
Firma aquello.
¿Pero qué?
¿Qué mierda? Vamos a salir arriba de la canoa. Vamos para arriba de la canoa.
Cállate.
Ay, que me están
¿Qué es eso,
durmiendo.
boludo?
No lo vio, boludo.
No sé qué. No sé qué mierda hay,
No lo vi, boludo.
¿Qué es eso, boludo?
¿Qué?
¿Qué?
Frenó. Acá está mirando. Está mirando, Te acerqué más, Umbral.
¿Qué es eso, boludo?
no sé,
¿Qué
boludo.
sé yo, boludo? ¿Qué mierda hay? Vamos, ¿cómo camina?
Pero,
Ahí se frenó.
chica, sí, quédate quieto.
Se frenó.
Oh.
Vamos a salir corriendo. ¡A la mierda,
Oye, Rafael, ¿estás oyendo eso, güey?
No mano, no sé si se escucha.
Puta madre, güey. Puto lamento de los pinches perros, güey. Ah, su puta madre. La neta ya me está dando miedo, güey. No mames. Vamos a ver las bodegas, no mames. Puta madre. Puta madre, ya me dio escalofrío. Puta madre. A ver, vamos para allá, güey. Pues la neta ya me está dando miedo, güey. Puta madre. No hay nada, güey. Puta madre, Rafael, mejor vámonos, güey.